Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the Winning Mindset Academy. Philip Fernandez here, as you know, as your leadership and executive coach, master NLP practitioner, and of course now founder and chief winning mindset strategist of the Winning Mindset Academy. For all of you that have a lot of my connections globally have already seen my past podcasts that have been out there. And today I've got someone really, really interesting that I want to introduce you to. He's a guy called Gil Lam-Hing. I obviously connected with him on this platform on LinkedIn. But what really inspired me about this guy and what really took my eye is what he's done in life and where he's come from. And like a lot of the stories, so we're going to hear about Gil's successes, but also about his adversities for when he fell and then picked himself up again. But eventually, I want to talk about Gil living his dream. Quick brief about Gil. He comes from Mauritius, and he's obviously living here now. He came in 2009. But before that, in Mauritius, he was a practicing journalist. And after a few years, he moved and started a little business in the wedding reception ceremony business, became very, very successful in that. And then he decided to look for a better lifestyle for himself and his family and decided to move to Melbourne, Australia in 2009. And since he's been here, he's acquired some amazing achievements. He's got an MBA. He's a member of the Institute of Manager and Leads, IML, and also a member of the Chartered Manager Institute of UK, CMI. And currently, right now, in April, he's become a practicing lawyer. So if that doesn't take your breath, at this point in time, I'd like to welcome Gil. Welcome very much, Gil.
Thank you very much, Philip, for your warm welcome and your kind words.
No, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'm really looking forward to sharing you with my audience out there. So let's start at the beginning, Gil. You obviously, as you said, when we first met, you came from Mauritius, and you started life as a journalist. Can you give me a brief background on what you did then and how that happened?
Currently, yes, I was a journalist, and Mauritius is on the news because whoever has Netflix can watch nowadays. And I don't work for Netflix, but you can watch this movie on Netflix, Resort to Love, which is where the movies has been the setting is in Mauritius, so it's a very highly touristic destination. Yes, I was a journalist. And I started in the radio program, sport program, for about a year. And then I moved to the written newspapers. And it was a general, doing politics, following things in the news. So, our first language is French. So I could write French. Better than English currently, and had a special skill in writing in French. So I think that took the attention of the editor-in-chief of a newspaper called 5+. And I was a very young journalist at that time, and I've covered a lot of political things. And I had because Mauritius is also a highly touristic destination. We had people coming from abroad coming to Mauritius. I had the opportunity, the privilege to interview them, not because I was a special person, but because they were in a touristic destination, and I was a journalist, and I approached them, and I could interview them. And we had Michael Jackson brother currently, that have done an interview. I had also some famous French personalities like l'Abbé Pierre, one of the famous personality in France. Wow. He's passed away, but he's still one of the most popular personality in France. And a lot of French singers, of course. So it was quite an interesting journey. I I think the most interesting part with a journalist, someone asked me one day, how do you become a journalist? How do you become, what makes a good journalist? So I think to answer that question, I think it's to be very curious about people, to be interested in people, not about interested in ourselves, but interested in people. And today I'm quite a bit on the other side. You are interviewing me. It's a bit strange, but yes, I have always this interest in people.
Fantastic. You mentioned you interviewed Michael Jackson's brother.
Yes.
Which one did you interview?
I can't remember I can't remember the name now. German Jackson. Jackson.
Wow, Jermaine
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Oh
So
my God.
So
Yeah.
at that time, I had my little daughter. She was 1 year old, and I asked him to do a little, to put his name there. And when I brought that home, they didn't believe. They thought that I have written it down.
I can imagine. I can imagine. So then you decided to move on and move on to a wedding reception business or something like that. Yeah. What created that transition in your head? Like, I mean, obviously life was good as a journalist.
Yes. Before that, Philip, before coming to this business, had the opportunity to serve at a higher level. I worked with the Prime Minister of Mauritius at that time.
Oh, right.
Yes, as an advisor in communication. So, but after 5 years, they lost the election. And as I was a contractual, so I have to find a new job. And I decided, to go into business because I always love contact with people.
Yeah.
So I had a business where we provided all the services in one go. The video, the catering, the music, and the decoration, and people just come to our venue and they have everything in one go. So it was very successful, Philip. Yes, of course it was. Just to give you an idea, Philip, we were doing about 150 weddings in a year, because in Mauritius, you get married any day. It's not like in Australia where you get married in the weekend, but it's any day from Monday to Sunday. So there were days that we have two weddings on. So we were doing very well. We had about 150 weddings per year. And for about 7 years, I was in that business. And I was, at the end of 2008, I was burned out. And I wanted to do something else. And, the island is not big as well. We have a population of about 1.2 million, but it is smaller than Melbourne currently.
Wow.
Yes. So I wanted to have, to go to another country to have, I dream about space, about, about over, the other side is always greener. When you are in a small island, you want to go out. And I think this is particular to people who live on islands, that when you look at the sea, you watch the sea, you look at the shore, and you wonder what's beyond that, and you want to go beyond that. So that's always a little dream to, a child dream to go beyond the shore, beyond what you can see. And Australia was a country who offered, of course, the possibility to migrate. So that brought me to Australia, and I have a few relatives here and family. So I came here in 2009.
Okay, just I'll stop you there for a minute. I mean, before we cross the shores,
yes.
You had a successful business, correct me, is that correct, with the wedding reception business, and you decided to just close shop?
Sorry,
you
Philip?
decided to just stop the business to come over to Australia?
Yes, I had that feeling that wherever I go, not to be arrogant, but wherever I go, I could be successful. I didn't come here, as many people, unfortunately, coming here to have a better financial life. I was already well established in Mauritius, but I had that belief, that intimate belief on me, that what I did in Mauritius, I could reproduce that in a different country.
Okay.
That was my belief.
So you already had what, I'm this is under the umbrella of the Winning Mindset Academy. you know. And so at this point, you know, how would you describe, you know, you didn't come here, as you said, to, you know, wealth wasn't the motivating factor. It was whatever you did, you obviously had passion behind what you did. If you
Yes.
liked and were passionate about this, you became successful because you were driven, you had passion, and there's something in you that you felt that whatever you touch, you could be good at, successful at. All right.
That is correct.
Is that how you would describe winning in life? Would you consider yourself a winner like that in throughout your life, winning at things?
It's a very interesting question, Philip. It depends what we meant by winning. If it is, you know, to succeed on behalf of our neighbors, to climb on their back and to win at their expense, this is not what I believe. To be successful for me is more to find enjoyment where we are and to do what we have to do in an ethical way and to bring a value in it and to give something to people. I always say that whatever you, because I was also later on, when I came to Australia, I started to do a little bit of salesman. In Australia, I was selling Optus in 2009, Optus, you know, subscription, knocking doors.
Right.
But I thought wherever you go, you can bring something to someone and to show people that there's a benefit in a product or in a service, and to give a kind of enjoyment and happiness to people. That would be a successful life for me.
Okay. All right. So you landed in Melbourne with your family, and of course you had to find income. So as you said, you joined Optus selling door to door.
That is correct.
And you had no selling experience before that. Is that correct?
I mean, selling is always in you, because I was in that business, in this, you know, wedding business.
Of course.
So I met a lot of clients every day and I have to sell my products, my services. So, but it was a different kind of environment, of course, because when I came here, coming from a background where I speak mainly Creole and French, Creole is a broken French, and French, of course, I have to adapt to the environment and to the language. And I remember the first time when you come here, you need to get organized with your phones and your electricity, and got call from people saying that, talking to me, and I couldn't understand. And it's very embarrassing. And you go to the, you know, you go to Coles or Woolworth, and they ask you if you want cash out, and you don't understand what's going on. You just nod, and it's very embarrassing. And I had to learn the hard way, and to listen to people, and to, you know, we know how to write. That's the good thing in Mauritius, where we have very solid academic institutions.
Yep.
I am very good in writing English, but talking, we have no practice.
Sure.
So we have to learn the hardest way and talk to people, knocking doors. It's very hard life as well, because in 2009, people were a bit fed up about, you know, knocking doors, how it is in Melbourne nowadays. And it was coming to that point in 2009 that people were fed up of people knocking doors and selling Optus. Very hard life, and not having a great income at that time. And for me, coming from a background where I was successful, and I didn't come here to earn money. I mean, I didn't come here just to earn more money, because I was well established. It was difficult when you get rejection from people. Sometimes people slam the door at your face.
It's an interesting time. I do remember those times where, you know, there was still door to door. A lot of these providers were going from door to door. They don't do it anymore, of course. But tell me, it was a tough time. What did you learn from being rejected? And, you know, what fears were going through you at the time, having to knock on doors of people?
I think that brought me a bit of humility as well, that I needed, because, you know, coming from a very successful background, I have worked with the Prime Minister. I'm saying that very humbly now, but
Sure.
But at that time, you know, you have a bit of a big ego, and I thought that going through that process and being rejected by people don't care that you have been working with a foreign prime minister anyway. So it brought me humility, and I'm very grateful for that lesson. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's a big lesson to learn. I mean, you had humility in you, but I think doing that again, it just brought you out.
Yes. Yes.
No one likes to be rejected, but learning from rejection can be very powerful in one's life if they take it the right way.
That is correct.
And I think that's probably is going to lead us to what you've done next in your life, which I'm excited to explore. So, of course, after Optus, you've weren't there forever because you're not there anymore. So, what happened after Optus? What was the next stage for you? What was going through your mind at that time? Obviously, you have 2 children and a wife you brought over with you.
That is right. So,
Yeah.
at that time, we were having a bit hard life, and my wife, who also came, my ex-wife, who came from a very wealthy background as well, she had to work in motels, and she had to do, like manual work that she felt as well a bit rejected. And we had people, I'm saying that very humbly, we have people working for us at home in Mauritius. And now she's working for people in hotels, changing, cleaning the rooms and all that. So we had a bit through a hard time financially, and I thought that contributed to our relationship. Our marital relationship deteriorated, and I went, unfortunately, for a divorce. But I have never given up. I thought that if I had an opportunity, even in a foreign country, I will take it. I had that belief, that firm belief in me that anywhere I go, tomorrow I might go to India or Sri Lanka or Chile, wherever, I might duplicate what I've been doing. So I had that feeling, belief in myself, and believe in someone who is superior than me, believe in God as well. And I thought if I've given a chance, I would succeed. Then an opportunity came. This was the time when they introduced the how they call that? They were doing some things with the roof.
Solar?
No, before that was before solar. They were doing something with the roof, insulation.
Okay.
The bats.
Yeah, bats.
So
Yeah.
that was very rewarding in terms of financial perspective. Very rewarding, and then it stopped suddenly again because it was not well organized at that time. People, some houses caught fire. It was not well in place, and suddenly stopped. And I was looking to myself and thought, oh, this time will never come back again. But no, solar came. Solar was introduced in Victoria, solar panels, and the government was subsidizing those solar panels. And I became a salesman, a residential salesman. We were having appointments. We had people who were making appointments for us, and we had just to go and visit those people. And I have been, for 2011 till 2019, I've been visiting houses, residential, selling solar. I've been successful as well in that.
Yeah.
I've been visited maybe 2 appointments in a day, 300-400 people in a year. And just do the maths, like in 8 years, I've been visiting a lot of people, and I've got a lot of experience in, to know the Australian communities in its diversity. I know how, what's the cultural background, for example, of how you speak to a Greek, or how do you speak to an Italian, how do you relate to them, how to relate to an Australian born here. So I've got a lot of experience that's helped me, it's still helping me in my practice.
Fantastic. So obviously, it looks like that was the time that you've, through adversity, and, sorry to hear that you had a family breakup, and, but obviously I hear that the relationship is still good. It's just, you just went different ways, and you've got 2 lovely children. But through that, you had to learn to grow, to adapt to the Australian way, and also the multicultural races that we have here in Australia, everyone's got a slight slant on Australia, so as to speak. And that was an interesting time for you. And of course, I hear you got a new wife right now. Yeah, you've remarried. And
so I'm happily married now. I've got 2 kids as well. It's a new life, a new start.
Wow.
Got 2 daughters, 5 years and 4 years old.
Okay.
So yes, a new life, and with a new life, some people say that you have to choose between love and money, and but what I always thought, that if you are in a stable relationship, I thought that love brings money. A stable relationship brings a stability, financial stability in your life. That's what I always thought. It's one of my beliefs as well, that love brings money.
Okay, that's very interesting.
But it's never the other way around, never.
Yes, no, it's not a good recipe. Okay, so tell me about, you've gone ahead and, how I came to know you was that you did a lovely post of you standing with your lawyer certificate. You now become a lawyer. And I quickly read a little bit about you, and that's what really got me inspired by your journey.
Yes.
Now, what you've just told me is something that you didn't actually put in the post. I mean, there's a lot behind you. So obviously, you've got a new life. And when did you decide to get on this journey? I mean, you obviously a man that seeks education. You wanted to completely keep on educating yourself.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So tell me about the reasons why you decided to, do an MBA and then finally now to become a lawyer. What drove you there? I mean, that's not something one can snap their fingers and says, well, I'm a lawyer tomorrow.
Yes,
I've got my MBA. It's a tough journey.
Yes. When I came here in 2009, I wanted to study because, if you have a certificate here, it helps as well. It's not about my experience in Mauritius, I felt will not be counted here. And I felt that I need experience, working experience, of course, but backup with a certificate. And I was interested with business and management because of my experience in Mauritius. So I studied an MBA, and it was quite interesting. I learned a lot of things, and it never leaves you anyway. You carry that everywhere you go. Even you're a lawyer, that helps a lot. Management and leadership, you will know that better than me. But to be honest, it was not my dream. My dream was to become a lawyer. It was a childhood. It was a teenager dream.
Okay.
I remember sitting there in Mauritius, 14, 15 years old, with my friend, who, by the way, is a lawyer, well-established lawyer in Mauritius. And we were dreaming, and we were thinking about changing the world. We were thinking about making an impact, try to make a difference, because we were attracted by the ideals of justice, of social justice, of equality and freedom, and and trying to save the world as teenagers.
Yeah.
So we promised ourselves that one day we'll be a lawyer and we'll make an impact. He became a lawyer well before me, because due to his background, he had a father who could afford to pay for his studies, and I didn't have that because I lost my father very young age. But anyway, that was always there, and I thought I have to fulfill my passion, and I started my study in 2017 in Deakin University. I studied a Juris Doctor,
Right.
and 3.5 years later, I graduated, and I was admitted in April, admitted by the Supreme Court of Victoria in April. And I'm on the register of the federal court now since 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've been accepted on the register of the federal court as well.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. But, to be a lawyer is not only, I'm not a lawyer only for money. Of course, I am not, we are not Robin Hood or Mother Teresa. We have to earn a living. But what got me in that trade, in that field, is, the idea of helping our neighbors and fighting for those who have no voice, fighting for those who have no voice, because we have a lot of Australian who can't have access to justice because they have no voice, they are not powerful, and trying to help them. And I'm always a big supporters of human rights. I believe in human rights. That everyone is born equal. That's my philosophy. And because of our circumstances, we don't have a voice, or because of our social status. But I believe in equality of men. I believe in brotherhood of men. I believe in justice. I believe in making this world a better world, and fighting injustice. Yes, that's what I believe, and I've been in that business not only for money. Like I said, we need money to live, but to bring all those values and to help people as well.
That's a great motivation and great cause, because again, you're doing it for more purposeful reasons rather than the draw of the status of being a lawyer and the money. That wasn't the driving force. It was the purpose that you wanted to achieve and contribute to, and the ticket to that was you had to become a lawyer to actually affect that. All right, that was your ticket. That was your second, and I think that's a very powerful message for my audience. And to me, that's another sign of someone that's wanting another form of winning in life, because yes, you've won, you're well off, but that wasn't the driving force. The driving force is that you were trying to your whole self was trying to help others that are experiencing injustice, inequality. Who's going to stand up for them? All right, it's a great cause, and I think that's what again drew me to you, because of the human value of the cause that drove you to become a lawyer. Now you have a purpose and you're enjoying it, which also now leads me to what's behind you, Gil. And ecocide on Earth. So tell me a bit about that. Of course, I can see why now that sign is behind you. I can feel that message coming through. Tell us about that.
So recently I've joined an organization, an international organization, which is represented in Australia as well, Stop Ecocide. So this organization is trying to promote the idea that the damage to environment, the damage to the earth should be considered as a crime. We have genocide, who is considered as a crime by the International Court of Justice, or war crimes, and they are trying to make this ill treatment to nature to become a crime, and they call it ecocide, like genocide, ecocide. And this organization have been fighting and has been trying to work with lawyers, very famous lawyers around the world, and they have drafted a kind of a definition of ecocide, which is quite interesting. And they are trying now to go into the International Court of Justice and to make that being recognized as a crime, as an international crime. And we all know the effect of this climate change. I know that there are people who don't believe in that, but recently in Germany, in Belgium, recently, a few weeks ago, people say they have never experienced that kind of change. I'm talking about the floods in Germany.
Yeah.
They said from memory, my wife is German, so we got connection there. They say that they have never witnessed something like that.
Yeah, what just happened? Yeah, it's terrible.
Just happened, yes. So we're trying to make people more conscious about that it is something that it is worth considering, because people nowadays are more focused about the economy, about earning more money, and it's okay. But what will be the money worth if there's no earth? If this earth is no longer eco-friendly?
Yes.
What what will be your, what all this money, what will that be worth to what will you buy if this Earth, this planet is destroyed? And like, you know, like we say, there's only one planet. There's no planet B. So I think people should be more conscious about that. Yes, economy is very important. You know, industrialization, having more and more business, that's all good. We are not against that, but of course we have to protect this Earth, to be able to do business.
You know, what you're saying is so true. Only recently on the news, about a week ago, you might have heard, Gil, about their projection by as early as in the 2030, 2032 or something like that. That's where right. You might have heard that recently about the global warming and what's happening. And of course, the bottom line was humans were causing this to the planet, what we're doing. And Australia, for example, is going to get so many degrees hotter and warmer in this part of the world. You know, if I remember in the 70s, you know, as a young boy here, teenager, that, you know, the winters here were very different, and the summers here were more definite and more prolonged. And you know, we get more blue skies, but we get, you know, now it's very different. You know, the winters are, yes, you get some cold days in Melbourne, but they're not, it's quite different to what it was then. So it's already happening. I mean, you know, it's exactly right.
Yes, it's happening.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, I said, look, I think the opportunity to invite people to be more conscious about protecting the Earth, your views, and to look into this organization. We are represented here in Australia, Stop Ecocide Australia. And if anyone feels the, you know, this passion for that cause, they can contact us as well and become a member of that our organization, because we're just starting here in Australia.
That's a great invitation to anyone. Are you looking for anyone in particular, or does it not matter? With
no, anyone, doesn't matter. Anyone, all kind of backgrounds. We don't discriminate.
Yep.
As long as you have you believe in that cause, that you know, that the Earth has to be protected.
Yes. And
we have to make some legislation and to make ecocide a crime. Legislate on that.
Wow. Okay.
That's what we are trying to lobby. Yeah, try to lobbying. You know, in Australia to pass that message through and.
Great.
About that and legislating about ecocide.
Are you lobbying it with government currently, or you haven't quite got there yet?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I was just saying, are you lobbying it with government departments?
Yes, we are just starting right now to lobby with within the legal community first, to make all the lawyers conscious about that, and then we definitely will go further in trying to speak to members of parliaments and at government level. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Fantastic, Gil. What a cause again. And all of that, I can see, you know, from your world comes back to humanity. You know, you became you're always trying to do right by others. You became a lawyer so that you can help the ones that are not the unjust, the inequality in this world. And of course, the bigger picture is the Earth that we live in right now. So I can see that your journey in cause and life is very strong, and is certainly one that, you know, the world needs more people like you. And and I would recommend, if any of you out there would be interested in finding out more about ecocide on Earth, you know, you can find Gil on LinkedIn, connect with them, and they'd be more than happy to take you through it.
That's right. I wanted to say before, I think you are coming to an end, but I wanted to say that everyone is a leader. It's not about the title. It's not about our status in life. We can make a difference. Even the, you know, the streets, the one who is cleaning the street, he's a leader because he's leaving the street a little better than before. As long as we leave what we are doing our environment and our world a little bit better than before, we are leaders. So everyone is a leader, a potential leader.
Well, I was just going to ask you the question, and you've actually answered it before I asked you the question, and that's a nice gem to pass on to my audience about, you know, what a true leader is, which is very much in the realm that I live in, and I totally agree and consent with that. That you know, a leader doesn't have to have a title. It's how you behave and what you do and your purpose in life.
That's cool.
And they're saying that a definition of a leader is having a followers. But people will not follow someone who hasn't got purpose, who is genuine, is authentic. Forget the title, is about what they are doing out there. You attract the followers unconsciously without forcing people to follow.
That's
you.
right.
That's a mark of a good leader.
That's right. Totally right.
So Gil, what an interview. I really appreciate your time. You have given us my audience a lot to think about the journey. And I think that a lot of my audience can relate to that out there. It doesn't matter whether there are professionals or just everyday people who are going through their own personal struggles, let alone moving countries. I mean, like you, I've moved countries too, and they reckon that when you move countries, that's about second or third on the stress scale, just under divorce. You've had both of it, so you've certainly had your fair share of stress and dealing with trauma. I was talking to someone this morning about that person did a lot of research in the world of trauma in people, in the area of human resources. So it was quite an interesting chat. And you certainly have experienced all of that in your life. It's cost you, but at the same time, you've made up for it because of what you really wanted to do for humanity and the community. Yes. And these things don't come cheaply. They come at a cost at times, but provided that your purpose was always focused in that, and you never, you know, strayed. You were very, very focused, and everything you did was towards that. And you're sitting in front now of a world movement, which I think is so necessary, and we need to address it, and right now.
I think the thing that you say are so very true, because the most important thing is to keep focus, not to be distracted. I mean, you have distraction will come all on your way, but you have to regain focus. You know, the next day when you wake up, you just have to regain focus. And I remember the words of Jennifer Aston, the actress.
Oh yes.
So she said when she went through I think separation, she said she was down, very, very down when she went through divorce and separation. But the very next day when she woke up, she lifted herself up and she said, no, I don't want to be in that place again. So it's all about focus. Of course, you will be distracted in life, but you have to get back your focus. And I always say, believe in yourself and believe in God and believe in something that is greater than yourself, in a cause or whatever name you give it, which is greater than yourself. And be passionate with what you do and believe in what you do. That's the most important thing. Without belief, I think we can't do anything. The biggest word is belief. If you don't believe in something, don't do it. That's my advice.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Gil, thank you so much for your time. We are going to conclude it now. And certainly, I know my audience will take a lot from this particular podcast. And I'd like to wish you an amazing day. Have a great day. And we will catch up very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Philippe, for your invitation. Thank you very much for your warm welcome as well.
It's a pleasure. All the very best. Thank you.
Thank you, Philippe.
Bye-bye.